everybody, Grest here. So I just wanted to do a video. As some of you guys might have seen in some previous videos, I had gotten a custom stippled frame, Glock 17 Gen 3 frame from NAF Solutions, and so I had some parts laying around, and I'm not done yet. My 8-shot challenge video, I did a little teaser, so I figured, well, what the heck, I'll go ahead and do a quick video on where I'm sitting at. So far, I just have stock Glock internals. I did polish up the trigger bar and the connector, stock springs, all that good stuff. Actually, the lower parts kit was from Polymer 80. It was a Polymer 80 parts kit. And then for the slide, I went with a PVD bronze Brownells slide cut for an RMR, and it's windowed. And then for the barrel, I've never used any of their parts before, but they look to be really high quality. Rival Arms, I went with a threaded barrel in case I want to run my suppressor on here. And then, I wanted night vision sights, night vision, but these True Glow sights here, suppressor height, were on sale, so I am clear here for those folks. But and then I had already had the back plate for this. So anyways, so I did take this to the range just to run a couple rounds through it, and I was having a little bit of issue before I went at the range. So when I went at the range, I thought maybe it would smooth out, but if you look at this guy, and it's actually smoother than it was, but if you pull the trigger, this slide is hanging up. So I'll roll in a little bit of shooting footage, but every shot I had to tap, and then that was with 124 grain NATO rounds, so they're a little higher pressure. I lowered it down and went with some Fiocchi 115 grain standard loads, and I started having some failure to feeds and stuff like that. So with my Polymer 80 builds, sometimes that would smooth out with some shooting, or you could polish it more, but I'm looking and I'm like, what in the world's going on? So so let's go down to the tabletop here, and I'm going to show you what I found, and just maybe this saves some folks some hassle later on if they're swapping out parts on their Glock or building a Polymer 80 or something like that. So all right, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so you can see I have my Glock build right here, and like I was showing a few seconds ago, the slide's kind of hanging up. So let's take this thing apart, and do this on the camera. All right. So what I have here is a Strike Industries full-length metal guide rod with one of their springs. Okay, I had purchased this a while back. For some reason, I got my Glock nomenclature mixed up. I was buying it for a Glock 19, and lo and behold, it was for a Glock 17. So the rod actually comes with different caps here, and I got just the normal 15-pound spring or whatever pound it was. I don't remember. So what I suspected was this spring here is hanging up in the channel. So if you look at this, how tight that fits in the channel, I mean, that thing should not do that. All right. So I went ahead and ordered a OEM Glock recoil spring assembly, and what I wanted to do was compare the dimensions of that. I was not about to, this is a factory Glock frame. I was not about to start grinding away. If it was a Polymer 80, I would have just clearanced it. But here is a factory OEM Glock spring, and look at that. Goes in there, no binding or nothing, nice and smooth. So kind of what I suspected was the overall diameter is different on these guys. So let me turn on my caliper, and I'll try to get it on the flat spot here so y'all can see it. So it looks like 0.437. All right, and let's compare with the OEM. So 0.411. So this Strike Industries spring is a considerably larger diameter over the OEM one. So, you know, it's frustrating to me because Strike Industries, I like their innovation, I like a lot of their stuff, but this isn't the first time I've had stuff from them that just it's not good spec. You know, I had an issue with one of their dust covers for an AR that just, you couldn't get the thing to frickin' work. So, yeah. So anyways, I would, you know, the guide rod's probably fine if I wanted to take the OEM spring off and put it on this guide rod. But honestly, at this point, I'm just going to run the frickin' OEM one. You know, but, you know, it's kind of money wasted. You know, I had planned on using this, and then I ended up having to buy an OEM one anyways. So, anyways, you know, just so you guys can see this thing assembled back together. All right. Yeah, so if you pull the trigger, comes all the way back, no problem. Nice and smooth. No binding at the end like the other one was doing. Yeah, so that's frustrating. So anyways, yeah, that's just a kind of a public service announcement there with the that spring. Be careful when you're buying non-OEM parts for any sort of firearm, because sometimes you're going to end up with something that's going to give you issues like this frickin' thing. And I suspected it at first. I was like, yeah, that thing's fitting tight in there. It's probably going to give me some problems. But you know, and of course I was waiting for the OEM spring to come in anyway, so I went ahead and tried shooting it, and yeah, it just bobbled the whole time. Yeah, so this pistol, so far, you know, it's coming along. Like I said, the trigger on it is OEM. I just polished it up, the trigger bar and the connector and stuff. It's not a bad, it's about as good as you can get for a OEM trigger assembly. And then, you know, I'm probably going to go with the Apex enhancement kit for this guy. For the red dot, if anybody wants to donate a red dot, I would gladly take it. You know, I don't think I'm going to go with RMR. I'm going to end up going with probably a Holosome, try one of those things out. They have a pretty good following. And in the meantime, though, I didn't have screws. I thought the slide came with screws, but I guess I was wrong. I have a just cover plate from Grey Ghost Precision I'm going to throw on there. It's just one I had laying around, because ultimately it doesn't matter. I'm going to end up putting a red dot on here. But I like the feel of the pistol. It's got nice balance to it. Should shoot really good with this OEM Recoil spring assembly. And yeah. Alrighty, that's about it. I've rambled on long enough. So if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns or anything that you guys have ran into on you know, your Glock pistols, please you know, put that below in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, and I will catch you all on the next video. Y'all take it easy.